Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a changelog and also give some first impressions when it comes to the updates and how it's been going. First of all, we had a changelog today, update 2.29.0.31, and basically usually we have this after the updates. It's actually the first devlog in about half a month, changelog in about half a month, and it fixes some of the stuff from it. So there was a bug that caused dropping bombs in series not to work with the bomb series option disabled in the settings, and this has been fixed. The Focke-Wulf 190D13, there was a bug that made it not possible to select secondary weapons, has been fixed as well. And in the ARB version of Rocky Pillars, which I'm kind of surprised actually made it in the game, there was a bug that caused aircraft that was supposed to spawn in the air to spawn on the airfield. That's also been fixed. And the funniest change so far of the changelogs, the voices of the US Naval Crew Commander and Sailor were replaced, as it was noted that the Commander sounded too young and the Sailor did not sound young enough. There was also excessive rattling of ground vehicle tracks, that's been fixed as well, and playing a server replay using DirectX 12 caused a crash that has now been fixed. Now, I did note on the dev server that the American naval crew, there was just one of them in particular that sounded absolutely horrific, so hopefully that one was the one that was changed. All of the rest sounded completely fine. I wouldn't say my critique was that the commander sounded too young or the sailor didn't sound old enough. I would say that my critique of the situation was the simple fact that the overall crew just sounded fine, but just one of them sounded like they'd never done voice acting before, so they were massively over-enunciating everything. So instead of just saying, like, forward aft, or, you know, forward aft, instead it was forward aft, and it was just awful. Like, it sounded like, you know, it sounded like they just picked, like, a random YouTuber off the, I don't know, the farm, and then just said, scream into this microphone, please. But maybe they did, who knows? Maybe this person is actually supposed to be a serious voice actor, and hopefully they can get themselves sorted. But yeah, it was pretty rough. Now let's talk about the update. So overall, the update's been fantastic, I think. There's a few weird bugs going around, but nothing compared to what we've seen previously. Obviously, the bomb series ones, that's already been fixed. And at the same time, there's a weird bug in Test Drive where sometimes either rounds don't exist, or sometimes, you know, you fire your machine gun and instead it fires rockets or smokes. I don't think this is happening in live games. Maybe it is, but it seems really odd. And then also there's the ammo bug, where if you choose a specific amount of ammo to take, and sometimes it just won't do it, it'll just decide not to. So when it comes to like game-breaking bugs, there aren't any at the moment, which is a big success when it comes to this update, and I think doing that extra set of live servers seems to have helped for the, to make sure that the game actually works properly. So maybe going forward, we can see some more stuff like that. The other thing is, the vehicles all seem to work very well, doesn't seem to be any huge bugs with them, and everything just feels pretty good. Like, I know when it comes to complaining, there's always going to be negativity when it comes to these updates, but if you think about it, the economy stuff is so much better than it was previously. So many vehicles are so much easier for people to get access to, which is really nice. I know I made the video yesterday talking about some vehicles which were annihilated by these, but there are many vehicles that have actually got better. Stuff like the F5C, for example, and other premiums that are now at ranks, which means that they're a lot more useful, which is really nice. And also, at the same time, pretty much all the vehicles that I played have their unique playstyles. They're pretty fun, they're pretty enjoyable, and also pretty easy to grind. I'm on the 2S1 now, so maybe that'll change. We'll have to see going forward, because the 2S1 just feels incredibly rough. But all of the little UI changes that they've made, specifically for the modifications, you know, the general changes in how colors work. The only one which is a little bit weird, of course, is the stat card images, and it still is weird to see them, and I do prefer the old stat card images to the new ones. But the fact that one of the main things that I've seen people complain about is that some vehicles have wrong flags, surely that means that the update is running pretty well. Haven't heard any issues about high to ground. Obviously, when it comes to high tier aviation, there's always going to be chats about, you know, what is overpowered, what is good, what is bad, is the game going the right way, is it boring, is it blah 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 blah. But at the same time, you're always going to have those chats. Like, since War Thunder has existed, the meta chat will never change, right? It will always just continue evolving until stuff slightly changes, and then you go to the next one. But for me, the game is running really well. It also looks absolutely beautiful. That's one of the things that they've done really well here. I did turn off the dynamic lighting because my eyes can't see anything because I'm old. And also at the same time, with all of the trees moving, with all of the bushes moving, what's happening is I'm finding it very hard to track targets. And as I said, that's just because I'm old. So the basic thing is I'm struggling in that regard. The new maps are really nice that they brought in. Everything seems to function pretty well. Nothing previously seems to have been broken. And also, at the same time, everything just feels really nice. My main critique of the updates, of course, is obviously some of the research issues that people will have run into now with certain vehicles changing in rank and also moving around. If people weren't up to date with the research changes from a month ago, then obviously they're going to be blindsided by them. But I wonder how it can be done so more people know about that. Maybe that's something that needs to be sorted. Also, the blue water tech tree stuff, like literally it wasn't announced anywhere and just went through on the dev server, and that was it. That kind of sucks. You know, announced only really after the fact in that roadmap devlog thing they did. And that, you know, isn't great. Hopefully in the future they can actually make like an article about it before it goes on. And also, we had one day for the update, and then the next day they announced another event. And this is not an issue with the update. The fact that this update works so well means that they can actually do this, and it doesn't cause a ton of issues. But this is something that we've seen so many times when it comes to War Thunder, where basically what you have is you have a update, and then straight afterwards you have like a battle pass change, or you have an event that comes in. And I just wish there was just a little period of time between these things. I feel like that the live server update was supposed to come last week, and then you would have a bit of time between it and then the next event, but obviously that's not going to happen because, you know, it got released a week later. At least that's kind of the feeling that I get. But it just sucks, the fact that, you know, oh, okay, so we've got all these new vehicles, we've got all these new things to grind. The Hungarian stuff is added in, that's really cool. You know, you got some new top tier MBTs, you got some top tier aviation stuff, and Naval has just, you know, not had a ton of vehicles added to it, but they've changed the research and also added the premiums, which is cool. There's something for everybody, you know, whether you like the Chaparral, the PVKV, you know, stuff like, of course, the MiG-29 SMT, and that's fantastic. But boom, now we're going back into the next thing. Now it's time to get back on the horse and look at the new stuff that's coming. And this seems to happen every time when it comes to an update. And since this update cycle was so long, it felt like, I feel like we had an overload of that stuff. And I just wish that we could just sit back and appreciate what this update has brought. It's brought a fantastic set of new graphics settings, and also at the same time just animations. Everything just looks absolutely beautiful. They've added in so many different little tweaks here and there just to improve it, whether it's the colors of areas of the UI, whether it's the repair cost changes, whether it's just like little rank changes here or there, or the modification addition where you can see how far you are through a vehicle. All of these things are just little things that, you know, weren't necessarily needed, but the fact that they're here is just fantastic, and they just look really, really cool. And I'm hoping going forward we get more of these little tweaks here and there, whether it be like the updated Spitfire cockpits that we've seen, or maybe even an updated Mosquito model would be really cool to see as well. I hope everybody's enjoying the new update. Let me know how you feel about it, how has it been so far, and at least for me, it's been pretty good, and hopefully everybody else has a similar experience. Looking forward to the event, even though it is pretty quickly timed, and then also the Battle Pass, with only a month left. It's probably going to line up with something else coming down the pipeline as always. Look after yourselves, peace be with you, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.